Let me be brutally honest with you. Attraction isn't luck. It isn't something you're either born with or not. And it's definitely not a magic spark that only happens if she's already interested. Here's the uncomfortable truth. You can attract a woman even if she shows zero interest in you at first. Because attraction isn't a yes or no switch. It's a process, a dynamic, something you create. Most men waste their lives waiting for signs, waiting for permission, waiting for her to notice them before they make a move. And that's why they lose. The men who win don't wait. They build themselves into men. Women cannot ignore. And that's exactly what I'm going to show you today. This isn't about tricks. It's not about manipulation. It's about power. Your power. The ability to stand in your value, your purpose, your self-respect, and let her feel it. So pay attention. Because once you understand this, you'll never look at attraction the same way again. Let's crush one of the biggest lies men have been told about women. The lie is simple. If she's not interested from the start, you have no chance. That belief has killed more confidence, more opportunities, and more potential than rejection ever did. Because the truth is, attraction is not a fixed state. It's not something that's either there or not there. It's not a light switch. It's a fire, and fires can be started. Attraction is dynamic, not static. Think about it. Have you ever met someone you weren't interested in at first, but over time, the way they carried themselves, the way they spoke, the way they lived, suddenly made you see them in a completely different light? That's because attraction is dynamic. It grows, it shifts, it evolves, and it often has nothing to do with first impressions. Women are no different. A woman might not notice you immediately. She might even dismiss you at first. But if you're a man with purpose, with confidence, with boundaries, with direction, you start to pull her attention whether she wanted it or not. Why most men get this wrong? Most men believe attraction is binary. Yes or no. She likes me or she doesn't. And because of that belief, they quit too early. They see a lack of initial interest as failure instead of what it really is, neutrality. Neutrality isn't rejection. Neutrality is opportunity. It means the story isn't written yet. It means the door is still open, but only if you know how to step through it. The trap of waiting for signs. Here's the sad reality. Most guys sit around waiting for some magical sign before they act. They want the perfect smile, the green light, the she's into you look. And while they wait, someone else, someone bolder, someone with direction walks right past them and takes the chance. By the time they finally work up the courage, the game is already over. The truth is, attraction doesn't start with her. It starts with you, your energy, your presence, your ability to move forward without hesitation. Stoic truth control. What's yours? This is where Stoic philosophy becomes your weapon. Epictetus said, "Some things are up to us. Some things are not. A woman's initial interest, not up to you. Her first impression, not up to you. Her mood on the day you meet, not up to you. But your presence, your frame, your self-respect, those are 100% in your control. And when you stand firm in those, You don't need her interest to begin attraction. You create it through how you carry yourself. Real value versus surface value. Here's another myth that women are only drawn to looks, money, or status. Sure, those things can spark interest, but they don't sustain attraction. What sustains attraction is deeper. Its authenticity, its clarity, its purpose. Women can feel when a man knows who he is, what he wants, and where he's going. That certainty is magnetic. Even if she didn't notice you before, she will now. The shift from invisible to unignorable. Let me paint a picture. Imagine a guy at a party. He's polite. He smiles. He nods. He waits for someone to notice him. He blends in. Now, imagine another man at the same party. He's not loud. He's not showing off. But he moves with certainty. He talks with clarity. He laughs without needing approval. And when he leaves a room, people notice the silence he leaves behind. That second man, he may not have been the most handsome, he may not have been the richest, but his presence shifted the energy, and women feel that. That's the shift from invisible to unignorable, and it has nothing to do with her initial interest. It has everything to do with how you live. The danger of chasing interest. Now here's where most men go wrong. They chase interest. They beg for it. They try to convince her to like them. But here's the paradox. The harder you try to win interest, the more you lose it. Because neediness is the fastest attraction killer. Attraction is not something you plead for. It's something you embody. The moment you stop needing her to be interested, that's when she becomes curious. A story to remember. Take Daniel. Daniel liked a woman at his workplace. At first, she didn't notice him. She barely spoke to him beyond polite greetings. Most men would have either chased her approval or walked away, defeated. Daniel did neither. He focused on himself. He sharpened his skills. He built confidence in his work. He spoke his mind clearly in meetings. He didn't orbit around her. Months later, something shifted. She started asking him questions. She started lingering in conversations. She started noticing what she had overlooked before. Not because Daniel begged, not because Daniel tricked her, but because Daniel became undeniable. That's the power of creating attraction, even when there was none at first. The takeaway. The myth of interest says, if she's not into you from the start, you're done. The truth says interest can be built, attraction can be created, and it begins with you, not her. Stop waiting. Stop chasing. Stop confusing neutrality with rejection. Every time you step into your purpose, your standards, your authenticity, you flip the script. You turn not interested into curious, and curious into attracted. That's the first principle of true attraction. Let's talk about one of the most dangerous traps men fall into, the nice guy trap. You've been told your whole life, just be nice to her. Be polite. Be agreeable. Do everything she wants. And she'll like you. And yet, how many nice guys do you know who are single, frustrated, and invisible to the very women they adore? Here's the harsh truth. Nice doesn't attract. Value does. The problem with nice. Don't get me wrong. Being kind and respectful is important. But nice is the baseline. It's expected. It doesn't stand out. Nice is safe. Nice is predictable. Nice is forgettable. And forgettable is the last thing you want to be. Women don't fall in love with the guy who bends over backwards just to keep them happy. They fall in love with the man who adds value to their lives, a man with purpose, opinions, and standards. Think about it. If all you do is say yes, agree, and comply, what do you really bring to the table? Nothing but comfort, and comfort, in her mind, equals friend zone. Why nice fails? The reason nice guys struggle is because they confuse pleasing with attracting. They think if they remove all tension, all disagreement, all challenge, she'll finally notice them. But attraction doesn't work like that. Attraction thrives on respect, curiosity, and polarity. And none of those come from being endlessly agreeable. In fact, constant niceness usually signals something dangerous to women: neediness. She sees that you're trying to buy her affection with compliance, and that instantly lowers your value in her eyes. From nice to valuable. So how do you break out of the nice guy trap? You shift from being nice to being valuable. And value comes from 4 things. 1. Purpose. You know who you are and where you're going. 2. Boundaries. You respect yourself enough to say no. 3. Passion. You bring energy and excitement to your life. 4. Authenticity. You're real, even when it's uncomfortable. When you embody these, women stop seeing you as a safe option and start seeing you as a man they can't ignore. The story of James. Let me give you a story. James was a classic nice guy. He liked a woman named Sarah. He always said yes to her plans, laughed at jokes he didn't find funny, and never voiced his real opinions. He thought that by avoiding conflict, he would win her heart. Instead, Sarah barely noticed him. He was invisible. One day, James decided to shift. He stopped saying yes to everything. He shared his real opinions, even if they were different. He pursued his passion for hiking and invited Sarah to join him on his terms. Suddenly, Sarah looked at him differently. She saw a man with direction, a man with substance, a man who brought something real to the table. James didn't become arrogant. He didn't become rude. He simply became valuable, and that changed everything. The Stoic element. Here's where Stoicism ties in. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." A good man isn't one who just pleases others. A good man is one who lives with strength, integrity, and purpose. When you embody those traits, you don't need to beg for attraction. You create it. Women sense it. People respect it. And your own life transforms because you stop living for external approval. How to become valuable? Here's the step-by-step shift. 1. Get clear on your standards. Know what you want in life and in relationships. Stop bending for everything she says. When you have standards, you communicate value without a word. 2. Say no when necessary. Niceness often means saying yes to avoid discomfort. Value means protecting your time and energy. Saying no shows self-respect. And self-respect is magnetic. 3. Pursue your passions, whether it's fitness, career, or a creative hobby. Invest in something that grows you. Women feel it when a man has momentum. Your passion makes you alive, and that aliveness is contagious. 4. Be kind, but not weak. True kindness comes from strength. It's helping others without losing yourself. Weak kindness is doing favors out of fear of rejection. Strong kindness is generosity backed by self-respect. 5. Be authentic. Stop hiding your real thoughts and feelings just to please. Speak your truth with respect. Authenticity builds respect, and respect builds attraction. The paradox of value. Here's the paradox: when you stop trying so hard to be liked, you become more likable. When you stop trying to win her over, you become more attractive. When you stop bending your entire world around her, she starts orbiting around you, because now you're not a man begging for attention. You're a man living with direction. And that's the kind of man women can't help but notice. The takeaway: being nice might make you comfortable, but being valuable makes you unforgettable. If you want to attract women, even women who don't notice you right now, stop chasing approval. Stop thinking being agreeable is enough. Start living with purpose, boundaries, passion, and authenticity. Because in the end, women don't fall for the man who always says yes. They fall for the man who stands tall in who he is. Let me hit you with a truth that will sting at first, but free you forever. The more you need her approval, the less attractive you become. Most men don't realize it, but they've built their entire self-worth on a woman's reactions. They wait for her to reply before they feel good. They stare at their phones, anxious over whether she likes them. They change their mood depending on whether she gives them attention or not. And what does that say? It says you've handed over your power, the trap of seeking approval. When your confidence is tied to her response, you're no longer in control of your life. You're on emotional autopilot. She pushes a button, and you react. That's not attraction. That's dependence. A man who needs validation at every step becomes predictable, insecure, and weak in her eyes. She may not tell you outright, but she feels it. She feels the neediness. She feels the desperation. And nothing kills attraction faster than a man who can't stand on his own 2 feet without her applause. The psychology behind it: women are intuitive. They can sense when your energy is grounded in yourself or borrowed from them. If she notices that every compliment from her lights you up and every ignored text crushes you, she knows your confidence isn't real. It's fragile. It's dependent. And deep down, she can't trust a man who doesn't trust himself. Because here's the paradox: the moment you stop chasing her validation is the exact moment she starts craving yours. The story of Marcus. Let me give you a story. Marcus was obsessed with a woman named Emily. Every time she texted him back, he felt on top of the world. Every time she ignored him, he spiraled into doubt. He adjusted his schedule to fit hers. He bent his opinions to avoid conflict. He thought being endlessly available would win her over. But all it did was push her away. Emily lost interest, not because Marcus wasn't a good guy, but because his need for approval made him weak. One day, Marcus snapped. He decided to stop living for Emily's responses. He stopped checking his phone every 5 minutes. He started focusing on his job, hitting the gym, and reconnecting with friends. He chose to rebuild his sense of worth from within. A month later, Emily reached out. She noticed he wasn't orbiting around her anymore, and for the first time, she felt something she hadn't before: curiosity. Marcus didn't get Emily back because he begged. He got her attention back because he stopped begging. The Stoic perspective Epictetus once said, "If you seek freedom, then wish nothing and shun nothing that depends on others, or you will always be a slave." That's exactly what happens when you tie your confidence to her approval. You become a slave to her moods, her texts, her attention. A Stoic man, on the other hand, grounds his self-worth in his own choices, his own discipline, his own actions. His confidence is unshakable because it doesn't rely on someone else's reaction. That's the kind of man women respect. That's the kind of man women chase. How to build confidence without approval. Let's break this down into practical steps you can take today. 1. Detach from the outcome. Stop measuring your value by whether she texts back or not, whether she replies or disappears. Your worth doesn't change. Detachment creates freedom. 2. Celebrate your own wins. Did you crush a workout, land a new client, learn a new skill? That's your validation. Build a list of daily victories so you don't crave hers. 3. Live by your standards. Know your non-negotiables. If she crosses a boundary, don't excuse it just to keep her. A man with standards is far more attractive than one who tolerates everything for approval. 4. Say no. If you always say yes, you're training her to see you as a pushover. Practice saying no calmly, respectfully, firmly. She'll test you, but if you hold the line, she'll respect you. 5. Accept rejection. Rejection isn't death. It's redirection. The more comfortable you are with hearing no, the more powerful you become. A man who fears rejection is weak. A man who embraces it is unstoppable. Shifting the energy. When you stop chasing her approval, something powerful happens. You flip the dynamic. Instead of you sitting there asking, "Does she like me?" she starts asking, "Why isn't he chasing me? Why isn't he seeking me out? Did I lose him?" And that shift creates attraction, because now she feels the curiosity, she feels the uncertainty, she feels the need to prove herself to you. That's the ultimate reversal when she starts working for your approval instead of the other way around. Confidence in action. Confidence isn't a feeling you wait for. It's a muscle you build every time you choose to stand firm. Every time you choose not to beg for validation. Every time you hold your ground, you reinforce your strength. And over time, that becomes your natural state. Not arrogance, not cockiness, but calm, steady self-assurance. The kind of energy that says, "I know who I am. I know what I bring. I don't need anyone to clap for me to feel whole." That's magnetic. That's rare. And that's what women notice, even if they don't admit it out loud. The takeaway men. Listen closely. If your confidence depends on her, you'll always be weak. If your confidence is built by you, You'll always be strong. Reject her approval. Build your own confidence. Stop waiting for her to validate you. Start validating yourself by the life you live, the boundaries you set, and the standards you uphold. Because the moment you stop chasing her approval is the moment she starts chasing yours. And that's when you stop being the nice guy hoping for attention and become the man every woman notices, even the ones who weren't interested before. There's a secret weapon in attraction that almost no man uses correctly. It doesn't require looks, money, or clever lines. It doesn't even require you to say a word. It's silence. Now, most men fear silence. They rush to fill every pause with words, every gap with texts, every space with attention. They believe if they're not constantly present, she'll forget about them. But the opposite is true. When you're always available, always predictably, always filling the air with your presence, you remove the one ingredient that makes attraction magnetic: mystery. Why silence works. We live in a world of noise, notifications, messages, constant updates. Everyone is available 24/7. But when you pull back, when you stop responding instantly, when you leave some space, suddenly you stand out. That silence plants a question in her mind. Why isn't he reaching out? Did he lose interest? Is he with someone else? And those questions create curiosity. Curiosity creates tension, and tension is the spark of attraction. The psychology of mystery. Here's the truth. People value what they can't fully predict. If she knows exactly when you'll text, what you'll say, and how you'll respond, there's no excitement, no discovery, no spark. But when you're a little unpredictable, when you hold back just enough, she starts leaning in. She starts wondering what's going on in your world. She starts investing mentally and emotionally, even without you saying a word. That's the power of silence. It turns the spotlight back on her mind. The story of Daniel. Daniel was like most men. Every time the woman he liked messaged him, he responded within seconds. He thought being fast and available would show he cared. Instead, she lost interest. Why? Because there was no mystery. She had him figured out. One day, Daniel decided to change. He didn't ignore her, but he stopped rushing. He responded when he had time. Not instantly. He didn't overshare his life in every text. He kept some things to himself. And something interesting happened. She started messaging him more often. She began asking deeper questions. She even admitted, "You're kind of hard to read sometimes." That's when Daniel realized his silence wasn't weakness. It was strength. The Stoic element Seneca once said, "Silence is a lesson learned from the many sufferings of life." In relationships, silence isn't about punishment or playing games. It's about self-control. It's about not giving away everything at once. It's about showing that you're not desperate for attention, that your peace doesn't depend on her replies. And that calm restraint is profoundly attractive. How to use silence and mystery effectively. Let's break it down into practical steps. 1. Don't rush to reply. Take your time. If you're in the middle of something, finish it first. A thoughtful response is always more powerful than an instant one. 2. Be selective about what you share. You don't need to tell her every detail of your day. Keep some parts of your life private. Let her wonder. Let her ask. 3. Embrace pauses in conversation. Don't feel pressured to fill every silence. Sometimes, letting a moment breathe creates far more tension than words ever could. 4. Live a life outside of her. Mystery isn't about being manipulative. It's about having a full, meaningful life that she doesn't have access to 24/7. That's what makes you interesting. 5. Avoid overexposure. Don't be the man constantly liking every photo, commenting on every post, texting every hour. Less is more. Space creates value. The balance now. Let's be clear. Silence isn't ghosting. Mystery isn't mind games. If you completely vanish, she may assume you don't care at all. The art is in balance. You're open, but not exposed. You're available, but not predictable. You're interested, but not disparity. That balance shifts the power. It moves you from chasing to attracting. The shift in energy. When you embrace silence and mystery, something powerful happens. Instead of you asking, "Does she like me?" she starts asking, "What's going on with him?" Instead of you wondering when she'll reach out, she starts wondering why you haven't. Suddenly, the dynamic flips. You're not the one seeking validation. You're the one creating curiosity, and curiosity pulls her toward you without effort. The takeaway, men. Listen carefully. Attraction isn't built on constant words. It's built on curiosity, tension, and the unknown. When you learn to be comfortable with silence, when you stop oversharing, when you let her wonder about you, you unlock a magnetic energy most men will never understand. Because silence isn't empty. It's full of questions. It's full of curiosity. It's full of power. And in that quiet space, you become unforgettable. Let's be brutally honest. Most of the dating rules you've been told are completely useless. Don't text her first. Wait exactly 3 days before calling. Act like you don't care. These so-called rules have been repeated for decades like gospel. But here's the truth. If you're living your life by outdated scripts, you've already lost. Because attraction doesn't come from rules. Attraction comes from authenticity and uniqueness. The problem with dating rules. Rules make you rigid. They make you robotic. They turn you into a man who second-guesses every move instead of living naturally. Think about it. If you're constantly thinking, should I text her now or wait? Am I supposed to act mysterious here? Does the rule say I should compliment her or not? You're not being present. You're not being real. You're trapped in your head, playing a game you don't even understand. And women can sense it. They feel when you're performing instead of living. They feel when you're trying to follow a script instead of being yourself. And nothing kills attraction faster than inauthenticity. Why rules fail? Rules are shortcuts for men who don't want to do the real work. They promise easy formulas. Say these 5 lines and she'll fall for you. Follow these steps and she'll chase you. But here's the harsh reality. Every woman is different. Every situation is different. And no rule book can account for the complexity of real human connection. That's why rules fail. They try to turn attraction into math. when in reality, it's an art. The story of Alex. Alex was obsessed with dating advice. He memorized lines, studied rules, and followed them to the letter. He would wait the exact number of hours before texting back. He'd pretend to be busy when he wasn't. He'd copy every move he read online. And guess what women saw right through it? He came across as fake, stiff, and disconnected. One day, Alex finally snapped. He decided to forget the rules. Instead, he focused on living his truth. If he was busy, he said so. If he wanted to share something funny, he sent it without waiting for the right time. He showed his real personality, quirks and all. What happened? Women responded differently. They laughed. They opened up. They felt a connection because Alex wasn't a robot anymore. He was real. The lesson rules made him invisible. Authenticity made him attractive. The Stoic element, Marcus Aurelius once said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." If your thoughts are chained to rigid rules, your life shrinks. But if your thoughts are grounded in authenticity, you expand. Stoicism teaches us to control what we can, our mindset, our choices, our actions, and to release what we can't. Dating rules are about control, about trying to manipulate outcomes. Authenticity is about freedom, about showing up as your real self, regardless of outcome. And freedom is far more attractive than control. How to break the rules and win. So, how do you shift from following outdated rules to creating your own path? 1. Question every rule. If advice tells you to hide, delay, or manipulate, ask yourself, is this authentic? Does this reflect who I am? If the answer is no, throw it out. 2. Lead with honesty. If you like her, show interest. If you don't, move on. Stop waiting for some imaginary timeline. Directness is rare, and rare is magnetic. 3. Embrace vulnerability. Most rules tell you to never show weakness, but being open about who you are, what you want, or what you feel creates genuine connection. Vulnerability isn't weakness, it's strength. 4. Be flexible. Rules are rigid. Attraction is fluid. Learn to read the energy of the moment instead of forcing it into a formula. Sometimes silence is powerful. Sometimes openness is. The key is adaptability. 5. Double down on your uniqueness. What makes you different? Your humor, your passions, your story, these are what make you attractive. Rules try to erase individuality. Authenticity magnifies it. The paradox of rules. Here's the paradox. The men who succeed with women aren't the ones who master every dating rule. They're the ones who break them. They're the ones who stop waiting 3 days to text and instead send a message when it feels right. They're the ones who stop pretending to be hard to get and instead focus on living lives so full that they naturally attract. They're the ones who stop acting mysterious for the sake of it and instead let their real depth speak for itself. Because authenticity is unpredictable, and unpredictability is magnetic. The shift in energy. When you break the rules, something shifts. You're no longer chained to what you're supposed to do. You're free to do what feels right, what feels natural, what feels true. And that freedom makes you confident. That confidence makes you attractive. And that attraction feels real because it is the takeaway, men. Listen carefully. Stop living by outdated scripts. Stop memorizing lines. Stop waiting for permission. Break the rules. Create your own path. Because, at the end of the day, women don't fall for the man who follows a formula. They fall for the man who's real, confident, and unapologetically himself. Authenticity beats rules every single time. Most men spend their entire lives chasing women. They send the first text. They send the second. They adjust their schedules, cancel their plans, bend their boundaries, all just to get her attention. But here's the brutal truth. The one who chases always holds less power. And if you want to create lasting attraction, you need to flip the dynamic. You need to stop chasing and make her chase you. The problem with chasing, when you chase, you're telling her, my time isn't valuable. My goals can wait. My worth depends on whether you choose me. And women can feel it. Even if they don't say it out loud, they sense the imbalance. They sense that you've handed them control of the relationship before it's even started. That kind of energy doesn't inspire respect. It inspires indifference. Because here's the paradox. When you stop chasing, you stop begging. And you start focusing on yourself, you instantly become more attractive. Why making her chase works attraction isn't about desperation. It's about value. And value is created when you live a life so full, so purposeful, that she naturally wants to be a part of it. When you're busy building your future, improving your body, chasing your mission, you radiate an energy that says, I don't need you, but I welcome you if you can keep up. That's not arrogance. That's self-respect. And women crave that energy because it signals strength, independence, and leadership. The story of Adrian. Adrian used to be the kind of guy who dropped everything for women. If a girl wanted to hang out, he cancelled his plans. If she texted at midnight, he answered immediately. If she pulled away, he chased harder. And time after time, women lost interest. They enjoyed the attention, but never saw him as the prize. One day, Adrian made a shift. He decided to stop chasing. Instead, he doubled down on his business, started hitting the gym, and reconnected with his passions. He didn't ignore women, he just stopped centering his entire life around them. What happened? The same women who once ignored him started reaching out. They wanted to know what he was up to. They wanted to be part of his world. Adrian realized the truth when he stopped begging for their time and started valuing his own. The power flipped. Suddenly, they were chasing him. The Stoic element, Epictetus taught, how long will you wait before you demand the best for yourself? That's the essence of flipping the power. Stop waiting for her to give you value. Demand the best from yourself first. When you live with discipline, purpose, and direction, you don't need to chase because you've become the man worth chasing. How to make her chase you? Let's break it down into practical steps. 1. Prioritize your mission, your career, your goals, your purpose. These come first. When she sees you driven by something bigger than her, she respects it. 2. Create healthy distance. Don't always be available. Don't cancel plans for her. Show that your time is valuable. When you create space, she feels the pull. 3. Be unpredictable. Not in a flaky way, but in a way that shows you have your own rhythm. Don't let her map out your every move. Mystery makes you magnetic. 4. Set standards. Don't give your full attention to every woman. Be selective. When she feels that she has to earn your focus, she values it more. 5. Lead with action. Confidence isn't just words, it's decisions. Make plans. Take the lead. Show decisiveness. Leadership naturally attracts the shift in energy. When you flip the power, the entire dynamic changes. Instead of you sitting by the phone, she's the one checking if you've replied. Instead of you rearranging your schedule, she's adjusting hers to fit into your world. Instead of you proving your worth, she's proving hers. And that's not manipulation, that's balance. Because healthy attraction isn't about one person chasing endlessly, it's about mutual respect, mutual désir, and mutual effort. Growth attracts. Here's the secret. Flipping the power isn't really about her at all. It's about you. When you focus on growth, building your career, mastering your craft, improving your body, expanding your mind, you naturally become the kind of man women want to chase. Why? Because growth is magnetic, progress is attractive, purpose is irresistible. A man who is chasing his own potential will always be more captivating than a man chasing a woman. The takeaway, men. Listen carefully. Stop being the one who always chases. Stop giving away your power. Stop living for her approval. Flip the script. Live with purpose. Build your value. Set your standards. Because when you focus on becoming the man you were meant to be, women will chase you, not because you begged, not because you played games,